Greetings. This evening we bring you a tale sure to resonate with everyone who remembers the carefree pleasures of childhood. Along with the warmth of spring comes its colorful trappings, outdoor games, vacations, and the familiar ring of the neighborhood ice cream truck. But sometimes, hiding behind the facade of these innocent diversions, lies the face of danger and death. Our story tonight is called The Good Humor Man, a description so inaccurate, its irony can only be fully appreciated at the midnight hour.
There's nothing to do out here.
Tough shit, Ronnie. You should have thought about that before you disobeyed me.
All I did was ask Dad if he was coming to the school play this weekend.
Not the point. I told you not to bother him while he was trying to get some rest. But no, you had to go and bother him anyway. So you know what? If you don't know how to act like a human being, then you can just sit out here like an animal for all I care.
Just asking him one question is bothering him?
Yes, it is. He's got bigger things on his mind than your stupid play. And I got bigger things to worry about than trying to keep you out of his face. So you just sit out here until I call you for dinner. Do you hear me, Ronnie?
I hear you.
And if I have to call you more than once, I swear I will get that switch and let you have it. You won't be able to sit for a week, understand? Answer me! Do you understand?
Yes! Big grouch. Still say it wasn't bothering him. Hi! Do you have any ice cream cones? French vanilla? Can I get it with sprinkles on top? Thanks! How much is it? $2? All I have is $1. Can you come back tomorrow for the rest? What'll I do? I can't ask my mom for it. She'll kill me. You want me to go back there? Ah!
Ronnie was restless yesterday. He didn't want to stay in the house. I begged him to stay in the house where my husband and I could keep an eye on him, but he insisted on going out. So I told him that I would make him his favorite dinner, and when it was ready, I would call him in. But when I went out there, he was gone. I mean, I even went and asked his friends that he usually plays with if they'd seen him, and no one had seen him anywhere.
Has Ronnie ever disappeared like this before?
No, never. I mean, even when my husband was away, he always stayed at home.
Does your husband travel?
No, he was in... Well, I mean, you know what, you're gonna find out anyway. My husband was in prison for a few years.
Really? What for?
It was a white-collar crime. Him and some others had embezzled some money.
What's your husband's name?
Rob Christensen. But he paid his debt. He's straight now.
I'm sure he is.
Wait a minute. That name rings a bell.
Well, sure it does. She just told you did hard time for embezzlement. That was, what, 6 years ago?
No, I'm talking about something else. Wasn't your husband in here more recently? Him and two of the guys he did time with?
Look, not for anything real. Look, I told you, he's straight now.
Hey, you're right. Her husband is one of the 3 guys accused of killing that little girl last year.
He did not do it. He was acquitted. They were all acquitted. And if you don't believe me, then check the court records yourself. Go ahead, go check them.
Yeah. Good catch, guys. I remember now.
Yeah, a little girl was kidnapped and left for dead in the woods last year. Before she died, she wrote 3 names in the mud. Rob, David, and Mark.
Right, the 3 names of the guys that went up for embezzlement. But that's not all. Christy Pierce, the little girl they were accused of killing, was the daughter of the 4th guy they did time with. And the one whose testimony sent him up in the first place.
What the hell is this? My son is missing. My husband's past has nothing to do with this. So why don't you get off your asses and go do your job?
All right, ma'am. We'll put out an APB on him and call you as soon as we hear anything.
Don't call me ma'am. I am not a ma'am. I am Brenda Christensen, in case you're too damn lazy to go look at that missing persons report I filled out. You know what? Why don't you just get busy and find my son before someone else's kid goes missing?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want a drumstick. You're out of those? Well, how about an Eskimo pie? You're out of those too? Well, what do you have? You want to show me what you have? I never did anything to hurt you.
Don't make him mad. He'll kill you.
How long have you been here?
Since yesterday.
Please let us go. We won't tell anyone.
Forget it. He won't. I wish there was some way I could let my mom know I'm okay.
I'm Larry's father. I want to help. I wasn't there for him until last year. I've got to make it up to him.
Well, what do you mean by you weren't there for him? Were you and your wife separated?
Here, read the name.
David Rogan. David Rogan.
He was one of the 4 guys that went up for embezzlement last year. Brenda Christensen, wife of your old cellmate Rob Christensen, was in here the other day.
To file a missing persons report on their son.
That's a coincidence.
too much of a coincidence. Let's think about this. You and 3 other men stole some money from the company you work for. You each serve a few years and get paroled. Then, a couple of weeks later, the daughter of one of you, hey, Klein, what was his name?
Pierce. Jim Pierce.
Yeah, the daughter of Jim Pierce was found murdered. But not before she scrawled the names of the 3 other guys in the mud. Now, all of you were charged, but had airtight alibis, and were acquitted.
Now your own kids are disappearing.
Now, why would the 3 of you want to kill your accomplice's child? And why would somebody, anybody, now be going after your kids?
I don't know. All I know is we did not kill Jim Pierce's kid. We proved that in court.
Have you heard from Jim Pierce lately?
No, I haven't. Jim is a piece of shit. I would not walk on the same side of the street as him. None of us would. Are we done?
Fill out everything on the report?
Yeah, it's done.
You can go. We'll be in touch. And one more thing. Stay away from Jim Pierce.
Hold everything. We got a new development in that missing child case from the other day.
Little Ronnie Christensen, did they find him?
Sort of. Brenda Christensen just got this in the mail.
What the hell? What kind of freak would do this to a kid?
Hey, Ronnie, you awake?
Yeah,
How's your finger?
he cut it off.
Is it still bleeding?
Yeah. Too thirsty to talk.
Me too. Quiet, here he comes.
What the hell is going on here? Who is this maniac?
Don't make him mad. He might cut your finger off.
My father finds out about what's going on here, and he will. He will kill you, you hear me? He will get a gun and blow your head off! You're sick. You're a sick bastard. If you want to kill us, why don't you just get it over with? You have to torture us too? He was first. He was second. I'll be third.
Please. Can I have some water? It's hard to breathe, and I have to go to the bathroom. I won't try to run away. I promise. I have to go real bad.
I hate you! Someday I'll get out of here and I'll kill you!
Hey, Foley, you got a minute?
Yeah, sure. Just got out of court. What's up?
Third child has just gone missing. This one's a little girl named Jody Hutchins.
Guess what? Mark Hutchins was the third guy to went up an embezzlement rap with Rob Christensen and David Rogan.
And Jim Pierce.
Right. But that's not all. David Rogan just called. He just got a package in overnight mail. A human tongue. Probably his son's.
This is bullshit. Obviously, Jim Pierce is trying to get even with the other three for being acquitted for his daughter Christy's murder. I say we pick him up.
Well, we got a bench warrant out for him. His wife is here right now, though. She's in the conference room. Detective Foley, this is Bridget Pierce, Jim Pierce's wife.
How are you?
Fine. It's been a long time.
Know each other?
He was on my husband's case.
The embezzlement charge?
Mrs. Pierce, we have reason to believe that your husband is trying to get even with his former accomplices for the death of your daughter. Do you know anything about this?
Not really. I haven't seen Jim in days.
Where is he?
I don't know. Look, you already know he went to prison with Rob Christensen, David Rogan, and Mark Hutchins for embezzlement. When they got out last year, he was different.
How so?
He was brooding all the time. He hardly spoke to me. And then, when our daughter Christy was found dead, and Rob, David, and Mark were arrested for her murder, he seemed really keyed up all the time. And then when they were acquitted, he crashed. He became very depressed.
How long has your husband been missing?
A few days.
In the last few days, 3 kids have been kidnapped and probably mutilated. It was Ronnie Christensen, the son of Rob Christensen, Larry Rogan, the son of David Rogan, and lately Jody Hutchins, the daughter of Mark Hutchins. Do you think your husband had anything to do with that?
I don't know.
Would you excuse us for a moment, please? Can I see you guys out here?
So what do you guys think?
I think Jim Pierce has the perfect motive for killing the kids of his former accomplices.
Sounds like it. I mean, Jim and the other 3 embezzle some money and get caught. Jim testifies for the state against the other 3 in hopes for a reduced sentence. Shortly after their release, Jim's daughter Christy's found dead.
But not before she writes Rob, David, and Mark in the mud next to her.
Rob, David, and Mark have the perfect motive. Revenge for Jim testifying against them.
But they all 3 had airtight alibis.
Supposedly. And so they're acquitted for killing Jim's daughter. But maybe, just maybe, Jim doesn't believe their alibis and starts abducting their kids.
Sending bits and pieces of them to their families. Make them squirm.
Sounds like it. Right. I say find Jim Pierce.
And we'll find the missing kids.
If it isn't too late. Listen, you guys can handle things here, huh? It's getting late. I'm calling it a night.
What do you want us to do with Bridget Pierce?
Cut her loose. She doesn't know anything.
Right.
Help us! Anybody! God, let us out before he gets back. The good humor man, he's crazy. He cut his finger off and his tongue out, and he's going to kill us all.
The good humor man?
Yes, he wears a clown costume. He's been torturing us for days. He says I'm next. Let us out before he gets back. Oh my God. It's you. You're the good humor man.
That's right. And the only way you kids are gonna get out of those cages is in a body bag.
Why are you doing this to us? Why?
It's easy. Once upon a time, 4 men went to prison for embezzlement. One of them, named Jim Pierce, had a wife named Bridget. She and I met during the trial and had an affair. The result was a beautiful baby girl. But Bridget wouldn't leave her husband and told him the child was his. We never knew the difference.
So just because their dads and mine went to prison for embezzlement, you're torturing us? That doesn't make any sense.
If you'd shut up a minute, it will. Jim and your fathers were paroled last year. And what do you think they did next? Answer me! What do you think they did next?
Nothing.
Wrong! My daughter, Christy, was found dead in the woods. And she wrote your father's name in the mud. And his father's, and his.
I know my dad had nothing to do with that. He was at the movies all afternoon with me. People saw us. There was even video surveillance footage to prove it.
So you guys found a loophole. I've been a detective on the police force for a long time, kid. Do you know how many scumbags I've seen walk on a technicality? It's bad enough seeing it happen to someone else, but this time it happened to me.
So you're gonna fix it yourself by killing us?
Sorry, kid. Sometimes justice is a bitch.
You're gonna die for this. I swear you're gonna die for this.
Bridget, what are you doing here?
They let me go right after you left. They said they got everything out of me they needed, but they were wrong.
I'd invite you in, but
It's okay. I can't stay. I just wanted to tell you something off the record, just in case.
Just in case what?
Here it is. Those 3 men, Rob, David, and Mark, they didn't kill Christy, Jim did.
What?
I told him you were the father right before he got out of prison. She looked nothing like him. He would have figured it out anyway.
Well, what makes you think Jim killed her?
He told me so a few days ago, just before he disappeared. He hated me for cheating on him, and he hated you for making him believe that he might get a reduced sentence if he testified against the others.
But she wrote Rob, David, and Mark's names in the mud just before she died.
No, she didn't. Jim did that. He wanted to get even with Rob, David, and Mark for all the times they beat him in prison. They never forgave him for betraying them.
Oh my God, I just...
Just what?
All for nothing. They were innocent, and I did it all for nothing.
Did what for nothing?
I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm sorry.
Jody's prophecy came true, as the ironic hand of justice finally ended Detective Foley's reign of terror, with a little help from Jody's own corpse. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's story. Relive the fear every week at the same time, and join us again next month for an all-new episode of The Midnight Hour.